Hello, I'm making this video in preparation for Grand Theft Auto 5. I believe that it's important for everyone to know my opinions on the Grand Theft Auto series in general, so you understand where I'm coming from when I start talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, to get the video release out of the way, I'm making this video to tell you my thoughts on the previous Grand Theft Autos, a quick Grand Theft Auto port performance. I don't know what the hell I should call that. Just the performance of the port. Then after a few hours, I'm going to tell you if there's any glaring flaws that I find in the game. And then probably at a later date, I will have either a complete impressions or just a full review for the game. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. Now, I didn't grow up with a computer or with a PlayStation, so I came into it around the PlayStation 2 era, and my computer for a long time wasn't powerful enough to really play modern games. And at this point in time, Grand Theft Auto on the PC would have been a modern game. At least I believe it was on the PC. I might be remembering that wrong. Anyways, when I finally played the first two Grand Theft Auto games, I didn't exactly like the gameplay in them. I liked them for a sandbox, just I screw around it in and see how long I live. I really did enjoy playing them that way. But as a game, playing the missions, I don't think I've ever done one. And I can say that's a lot of that has to deal with the control scheme in those games. Back in the day when you had isometric racing games and you had to go left and right and they controlled like tanks, I really suck at those controls, so I never got into games where that was a major focus of the game, was controlling like that. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a second option in the original Grand Theft Autos to change that way of playing the game. If there was, I should probably go back and play those at some point, but I don't think I'd enjoy them at all. So fast forward to PlayStation 2 when I got that, and I got never got it on PlayStation 2, but I rented it. I rented Grand Theft Auto 3. I got to the second island in that game, I believe, and I hit a mission that was just hard enough that I didn't feel like wasting my time playing the game anymore. See, in the original Grand Theft Auto 3, a lot of people gave it a pass back then because it was a pretty new idea. I don't want to say it was the first sandbox game, but it is the game that inspired more sandboxes than anything else. And because of all that content, because you were playing a bad guy, I think a lot of people gave it a pass, but those games controlled horribly, and I thought so even back then. The cars, every aspect of the game felt like shit. And then we come into Grand Theft Auto Vice City, where everything continued to feel like shit, but a more refined shit. It was better than 3, but it wasn't better. It's hard to explain. When a game wants to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, it really shows off in the gameplay. And I believe at this point in time, even Japanese developers were doing better controls for video games, especially in the third person, than what Grand Theft Auto was doing in and of itself. The first Grand Theft Auto game that I played and I really got into was San Andreas, but that wouldn't be until after the Grand Theft Auto re-release on Xbox. When Grand Theft Auto originally came out, I never paid enough attention to it to warrant playing it more than just the initial rental. But then I got an Xbox and I wanted to play a better version of those Grand Theft Autos. So I got those. My little brother loved the shit out of those games. I can't say the same. I picked them up a little bit and thought, I could be playing any other game besides these, and I wouldn't be as frustrated with the controls. That's something I don't think Rockstar ever got right in a video game, is how the game feels to control. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Out comes San Andreas. The game that says nigga more than I think every rap song put together in one. Just because of the sheer fact that you are going to fail at playing the game so often, you're going to hear the cutscenes over and over again. Now, you'd be surprised how much I fucking played this game, yet I couldn't have been fucking asked to beat it. I got to the third city, I believe, where you're doing corporate missions. I believe the one that I left off on was, you go to a construction site, you need to plant dynamite and leave. And it was at this point that I screwed around in the game enough that I got my money's worth just by playing it. I couldn't be asked to finish the game. I get wrapped up in the game story, so when I get tired of a game and I don't even want to see the fucking end, that is a problem in and of itself. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself there. This time around, even though the game felt crappy to play and there were better third-person games at the time, people were still giving this game a free pass. I don't understand why, but they did. So I just thought my opinion was wrong. They gave me a lot of choice. I had a lot of fun playing the game, but I never thought the game controlled well. And I think that has a lot to do with just being on a controller with the first Grand Theft Auto that you had free aim. I never liked lock-on in these games. I always fucking hated it. So I always free-aimed everything. And I don't believe that a console's controller was good enough for free aim. And I always wanted to play these games on the PC. So having a computer that was less powerful than a PlayStation back then kind of held me back from being able to play these games on what I thought would have played them fantastically. And now a console shift. We're to the 360 now. We've gotten to the point where we know how to make a third-person action game, and Grand Theft Auto is nowhere to be found. But Saints Row is there. Now, even with Saints Row 1, I believe gameplay-wise, it is the superior experience to Grand Theft Auto in every way, shape, and fucking form. Oh my god. But I'll get into that a little later. But I want to mention Saints Row just because it controlled perfectly. In comes Grand Theft Auto 4, where they give you the first hour of the game where you don't even have a gun. They somehow manage to make walking around as your character feel crappy. They make firing the weapons feel crappy. They go too serious with the story, making that I just don't give a fuck. They put in a whole bunch of stories that could have been interesting, but I just can't be asked. There was a side story in the game, at least I believe it was a side story, where you were making friends with two different people. And then at the end you chose who you went to kill and who you went to save. You chose who you went to kill. And then that person didn't want to fucking have anything to do with you afterwards. And it was just shit like that I didn't like. Then you'd come across a recurring theme in Grand Theft Autos where you'd have a mission that was fucking impossible, followed by missions that were so goddamn easy they might as well not be gameplay. And I don't even think I got 20% into Grand Theft Auto 4 before I said, fuck it, I don't need to play this shit. And then this isn't a Grand Theft Auto game, but this is This is another Rockstar one. Red Dead Redemption. What is considered by many people to be the best game Rockstar made, at least until 5. I'm not sure of how the reception for 5 was because I really didn't give two fucks about 5 until I seen the remaster version for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. And here's the issue that I have with Grand Theft Autos that they never fucking addressed. I don't know if it's addressed in 5, and if the controls are good enough, I don't think it'll be an issue in 5, but Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas all had these missions that were the hardest mission in the fucking game. Bar none, the hardest mission in the game. And they'd put it in the middle. They'd put it in the beginning of the game. They'd make the hardest fucking missions early on, and then they'd make the gameplay easier. And that, to me, is just a massive fuck you. I hate difficulty spikes where everything is easy, and then shit gets real. And then after that, shit doesn't stay real, it gets easy again. I don't like that kind of gameplay, but that's what Grand Theft Autos were. Red Dead Redemption, at least to me, was the death of Rockstar. I was never gonna play another Rockstar game because they never learned their fucking lesson with how hard the games are. They never learned how to make a proper difficulty curve. And that was a major issue for me. I hated that spike. But Red Dead Redemption, the controls. Oh my god, they made the controls worse than fucking Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, I don't know if this is just me, because at this point in time, I got a computer that was pretty good. I don't know if it was just, I went to a computer, I used a mouse and keyboard, and these games played bad on a controller. And I went back to a controller for some exclusives, and I sucked. I don't know if that was the issue, or if it was just these games fucking suck at control. I can't really tell, but I put 1 hour into Red Dead and said, I don't need to fucking do this. I bought this because it was a highly rated game, and I thought I'd enjoy the story, but no. Fucking Rockstar cannot make a game that feels good to play. They can't make a game that doesn't have that difficulty spike. They can't make a game that I want to play. Grand Theft Auto 4. I left off on a mission that had me go to a building for cocaine. Once you picked up the cocaine, police on 4-star surrounded you, and you couldn't get the fuck out. You couldn't get away. I managed 1 time out of 5 fucking hours of grinding my goddamn face on this mission. And I said, fuck it, I don't need to play this goddamn game anymore. I don't care enough. I don't give enough of a fuck about the goddamn story to keep playing this piece of shit. Grand Theft Auto 3, I got to a mission with, I believe, the lesbians. I was on that. And I don't know if it was I gave the game back to Blockbuster or if it was I got stuck and I just didn't care anymore. I don't know which one it was, but it was one of those. Same thing with Vice City. I think it was a difficult mission that I got stuck on that I just said, fuck it, I rented this game. I didn't pay $50 fucking dollars for this. I'm just gonna give it back and not give a shit. And well, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I put in fucking maybe 48, 50 hours into the game, and I played a significant portion of it. I got past the hardest fucking mission in the game, which was an RC helicopter that I didn't know was an optional mission until someone with a strategy guide told me. I thought it was required. I fucking hate Rockstar. So why am I going to Grand Theft Auto 5? I got interested in this on the consoles and on the PC, mainly because first-person mode. I honestly believe that if they have first-person mode in the game, they could not possibly fuck up how it feels to move the character around. So that's the only reason why I'm even considering the game. Racing in these games feels like shit, and Whoever in Rockstar decided to make a fucking street race in San Andreas a required mission to progress story-wise can go fuck themselves. Fuck them. Racing in your goddamn games feels like shit. And I don't know if they realize it or if they just... It goes over their fucking head. They must play this game so goddamn much. Even those fucking shit controls they put on the cars in these games must feel good to them. I don't know how the hell they fuck up cars for 4 goddamn games in a row. Okay, that's a different point. Different point entirely. But yeah. Now, let's go back to Saints Row. Because this is where I get frustrated at Rockstar and why I said, fuck them, I'm never buying their goddamn games again. Saints Row, from the very first game, running around felt like I was in control. I was in complete control. And if I fucked up, it was my fault. The gunplay in the game felt fantastic. And if I fucked up, it was my fault. It was forgiving enough that it felt good to play the game. These are games I beat on rentals because I kept playing them. I enjoyed playing them. Even the fucking cars. In the first Saints Row or the second one, I forget which one had this. You could hijack a car, and then you could take the people in the car hostage to get money. And this was the most effective way for you to get money in the game. At least from what I found out. Because the cars felt so good to play. I loved playing racing games. But they all felt... Grand Theft Autos felt like shit. Saints Row at least felt like I could have a fun racing game in it. And even when they had the racing quests in the game, or not quests, activities in the game, I liked doing them because driving in that game felt good. It never felt good in Grand Theft Auto. And that was a big portion of Grand Theft Auto. It's in the fucking title of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. So that's where I'm coming from with Grand Theft Auto. Also, on a side note, I'm taking Grand Theft Auto 5, the performance that you get at launch, even if they could patch it later, I'm not considering a patch. What you get at launch is what you get forever because of what they did with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PC, where they reverted something when they took out some songs, and now they've fucked up some of the future patches they put into the game. Basically, they fucked up the game. They took it back a couple revisions to remove some songs. And yeah, I have to take Grand Theft Auto 5 at what you get at launch, just because of that. Now, I'm sure there was another point that I wanted to say. Grand Theft Autos felt like crap to play. Saints Row felt great. I said Rockstar was dead to me. I got Grand Theft Auto 5 as a pre-order because family members wanted to give me something for Christmas and I had everything I wanted. So I went, fuck it. Grand Theft Auto 5 pre-order. And yeah. I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this. First-person mode in the game should make it feel great. Oh, I should also mention that I picked up Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas in a pack a while ago, thinking that I'd enjoy playing these on the PC where I have actual control over the characters with a mouse. No, they fucked that up. They also fucked up the port to 4 because my brother's computer, which was more powerful than mine, can't play the game for shit, even though it should be playing it at max frame rate. I just don't understand. Anyways, the first video I'm going to be putting out is going to be a performance report. I'll put my PC specs in the description and in the beginning of the video so you know what kind of computer I'm playing it on, what frame rate I'm getting, and if I believe this performance is warranted looking at the graphics in the game. I'll probably spend less than 15 minutes playing the game before I make the video for that one. The second video is going to be about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, where I just see if there's any glaring flaw in the controls or in the performance. Some kind of hiccup that wasn't there in either the benchmark or in the initial gameplay. And then if I make it a full review for the game, or just my impressions of the game. And this is mostly going to be going over a difficulty spike, if there is one in the game, and a lull in difficulty, if there is one in the game. Because I think at this point, everyone knows what the fuck Grand Theft Auto 5 is. And if you're looking for a review, you're someone who held the fuck off of the game until it was on the PC to begin with. I believe that most of the console reviews for the game will tell you what you need to know. I just kind of want to get PC specific and tell you my opinions in these. Anyways, thank you for your time, and subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. I'm planning on making a video series where I do 10 games a month. I'm still putting that together. This should be the first game that I show off what I'm capable of. Anyways, until next time, thank you for watching.